Sleep. It's 8:06 a.m. Friday, November 15th, 2024. I just I want to go to bed. I feel scared to go to sleep. They just did that play test thing. Um it was yeah, I'm not supposed to talk about it. Just the point is that like you could like measure a level of calm or relaxation. It's not, it's like put your head in a different space for a minute. And and then it's almost like you feel even more uneasy because you like had fun for 5 seconds. That would have been the coolest fucking job. Yeah. To just do like full time play testing. That would have been something cool. I feel like there were so many cool things, and it's as if they all like evaporated off the planet for some reason. They don't exist anymore. Yeah, the world is about as big as my apartment, and like mentally speaking. And I need a way to make it feel like it was a whole world again. You watch the news and it's just like one bad thing after another, but it did make the world feel like bigger. I kind of feel like my attention is being directed and kept at certain things that are important, but like that's like all you're looking at all day. It's like kids dying in Gaza, and then your apartment, and then kids dying in Gaza, and then your apartment for at least like the last year. Since October 7th of 2023, right? Um, yeah, flash floods and fires and my light went off again. I mean, those two lights are usually timed with each other, okay? Like if they go off, they go off at like the same time. And I don't usually have to get up to put that light back on, but like ever since I had that inspection, it just keeps going off. And I noticed, it is since the inspection. Like a couple on the 13th. I don't know why. I mean, I'm not saying it has to do with the inspection, but it has, like, I've noticed it since that day. I don't remember if it was I guess it does have a little RF. It has a little RF thing on it, so it has a remote somewhere. And then you hear boom, boom outside. Like the absolutely asinine level of like, I mean, if it is what it feels like it is. Like, so somebody is like somehow shutting it off because they have a little remote somewhere. They're invading your space, and then they got a friend outside making fucking noise at the same time. And they're all just like jerking off, enjoying you being like assaulted and terrified in your own room. And like that's what they do all day, and it's so much fun. So much fun. They've had the time of their fucking lives. Rising your cortisol levels, rising your adrenaline. It makes them feel like bigger, better men. Or whatever the fuck they are. Every fucking day. That's the implied feeling. And then you read them for filth, and you move on with your fucking day, and nothing fucking matters, and it doesn't matter because all these people don't give a fuck about anything. That's why nothing matters. You could have had housing for all. You could have had a universal basic income. You could have, all these stresses you have that you feel like you need to take out on me, they could have been addressed. And instead, you fucking like threw it in the trash and beat the shit out of me with sound and fucking circus shit. You're fucking monsters. And what, you say it until your fucking voice is broken again? And yeah, isn't it funny that, like, we're gonna deliberate... It's not that we don't believe you. We're just gonna gaslight you. We know exactly what the fuck. We're the ones fucking with you. We're just gonna tell you that nothing's happening because we think it's fun. We feel so powerful. Never had so much power in our whole lives. I just told you all the cool shit you could have done, and you could have felt so powerful. Shoved it right up everybody's ass. I got a positive email back from somebody saying they're going to put me on a wait list to get help. That at least is something. So yeah, I've sent like an email to, I don't know, let's say 30 people or something, and I've gotten like 2 positive responses back, which is actually doing pretty well, like as opposed to none. Yeah, it just seems like they're gonna try to pull some shit one right after the other for what conclusion? I don't know. Like, I feel maybe you should like ask somebody to investigate whether the fucking person that's supposed to run the building is alive. It's not about like could someone do a like? It's not a wellness check, but could you just make sure that the person that actually owns the building is alive? When was the last time you like saw them or talked to them? Because it's so suspicious. I've lived here since 2015. And they would be so quick to just like let you die. And their whole life is about writing at least something along the lines of housing is a human right and it's important. Like, it just seems like they wouldn't be that full of shit on purpose. Yeah, there's a whole committee that they're on. Maybe you should contact every single person on the committee if you can. And just be like, when was the last time you guys had a meeting? Like, you have seen her in person within the last month, right? Yeah, they're all like they've opened 2 or 3 new buildings just since I've lived here. Like constructed and opened like 3 other fucking places. Yet no one said, like, back before COVID was a thing, hey, let's move you into a different building that we also run. Or anything like that. Like, you know, maybe one that's not across the street from what's possibly like a religious-based hoopla, whatever. I don't know how much that factored into. Like, it's sad if you thought anybody in there cared a damn about you and was actually like ever nice and you just didn't know it. That's true about anything that's around me. But like, I feel like if they're so nice and so understanding, they also would have like stopped people who were harassing me, that they can see from their windows, that they could see from their businesses, that they would have like watched drive by a million times also. Like you know, they're like supposed to be like a bar right downstairs. Anybody notice weird fucking shit at all? No. For 4 years though, for 4 solid years, you didn't notice anything worth like mentioning. Yeah, that really, and then it's like, well, that's why everybody would be set against you, because like, even if they weren't in on it, they feel like, yeah, they should have said something and they didn't. So now, are they in trouble? They don't want to be in trouble. I don't know. This shit does not make sense to me. I grew up at a fucking like, I don't know what to call it for some outsider to get what it is. Foster care, military school, orphanage for poor kids. It's like a campus, and you stay on a campus. There's like a designated area that you could ever be. You don't like go into town. You don't the if you were playing The Sims, the world turns gray at the end of the lot, and like you don't leave the lot. Yeah, unless you're in a van. Like literally that is what it's like, and I never thought of it like that before. But yeah, you want to go to Walmart like on a Saturday, they might pile into the van. People put on jeans for the first time in forever, and we go to Walmart. And it would be like a special occasion. And you don't have any fucking money. You're just walking around Walmart and looking at shit. That was going to Walmart. Maybe you have like $5. Maybe. That would be like special. Okay, so I don't know what the fuck you want from me. Like, you took over a whole city. You own everything. It's your town. Okay, bro. Like, are you trying to send a cop to my door someday to kill me or what? Like, what are you doing? Yeah, we want you to find out the head of every single organization that's ever been published about that says like housing is a human right, and email them all directly. You know, I mean, like what I have done that though, like not so specific. I haven't looked up every single one and gotten it, but like I think I got a big chunk of them. And yeah, I've been emailing them since 2020. Like for various things. I feel like people probably know my name and they never met me before, which is kind of embarrassing and sad. Like you would be represented just by your panic attack emails. But like yeah, I can imagine people like, "Oh, it's this girl again." And they don't really like I don't know. Maybe it's more like, "Oh, you know, she's emailed us a lot." And they think about it. And it's like, "Okay, yeah, maybe like we should help her." Yeah, I really wish I could like have known to say that thing about The Sims this whole time. I've never even thought about it and how much that is literally what it was like. Like I just want somebody to understand where I'm coming from, and like I don't have the relativity to get what the fuck you're fucking doing. Like, and yet what it would have been like to grow up as like all these other people, like that, where that's absurd. You know, they live in a whole city, they live in a whole town. There's no like edge to a campus, and then they just can't, they're not allowed to leave it. Like, that would be like insane. And I mean, if it was a campus, it's as big as like the whole entire downtown, or like downtown plus across the river that span, like, you know, there's like 5 other sections of Portland. It is not just downtown at all. It's like there's so much other shit in this city besides this one street. Yeah, you go into the neighborhoods and you get these cool little like people have gardens, and they put little figurine scenes down, and they have little libraries. They have fruit trees and flowers, and like, yeah, big showy like whimsical fucking lawn ornaments and fun stuff. And they live in houses, and it's completely fucking different. There's like one street up around the, I think it's up above the Pearl District. I don't know where that is, what it's called, that area. But there's like 3 houses in a row, and they're all painted like really pretty colors. And that's as much as you get. Like, that little section of houses over there, that feels like the rest of, yeah, there's like the Japanese garden is really pretty and stuff, but I mean, like, if you were just walking around downtown, and downtown as in like the west side on this side of the bridge, like that's the whole area. I mean, there's like some a couple little, I don't even know what to call it. It's not really like a park. I guess it's like a small park. And it's got some cool boarded walkway thing, and like tall reeds of grass. There's like another one that has like a barrier like kids could kind of play on. It looks sort of like architecturally interesting. There's more like houses that have gates on them, and they're all attached in a row. It's like the fancy part. And then there's like the older buildings, brick and stuff. And then you've got just like buildings where you don't normally look up and realize, like, I like, is that an office building? Are those apartments? I don't know. There's a Rite Aid, like, that you see the Rite Aid, you see the candy store, you see the Payless, you like, and they, all of these places might be gone by now. There's like a mall kind of in the middle by Pioneer Square. It's like glass and cement. It's glass and cement vibes with like a tree every once in a while. Like, it's still more like tree foresty than other cities, but like that's like the core of downtown is a mall. Pioneer Square is kind of cool. It's supposed to be like an amphitheater style like seating thing, which is fun when they had the free concert stuff in the summertime, but like, yeah, I imagine them growing like food on all the rooftops and letting like the future of this city being like the forest comes back even into the downtown core, feeling more sort of like the way the neighborhoods feel. I mean, it's not like, oh, the forest reclaimed the city, but like the way you feel when you walk through the neighborhoods, and it's like just more trees and flowers and nature and stuff. Yeah, not just like the waterfront is like cut grass. And then when the carnival comes every year, it turns to mud and the grass has to grow back. The Japanese blossom trees are kind of cool. That's like a different part of the waterfront. Yeah, a lot of places around, like you'd have to be kind of rich to live in some of the like bits. It's That's not poor people living there. Yeah, to me, anybody's rich that isn't like on food stamps and in low income housing. That's rich. Because I could never afford a $1,400 apartment. Like, I don't know what you do with your life that you could in the first place. It feels like the world was always kind of fake. Like imagine a grandfather made lots of money and they opened an advertising agency just to employ their kids and their kids' friends, and they paid, it's like they just paid them an allowance and they didn't really do anything, and they all just like waited, and the kids thought it was a real job, didn't realize like how much of a hand their family had in what they were doing. They think they earned everything and they're living a nice life, but it's like a little society of grandparents and they don't really do shit. It was just about getting them from point A to point B so they'd have kids. And they think they had a career and that they earned $100,000 a year. And they don't do anything. Like, that is like that feels like it must be the real backbone to a lot of shit. Cause yeah, you need the grocery store people, or we would all die. You need the garbage collection, or we would all die. You need the people in the hospital. Yeah, you want to say you need the fire department. Like, yeah, we needed you guys. It's like you kind of like made people need you though, which is scary. Yeah, the cops and stuff. Like that feeling of like we're going to make you need us is terrifying. Yeah, the lawyers. Like there's just not enough cases for everyone who's possibly a lawyer to really be making enough money to not be like in poverty. So how does that make sense? It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Somebody's doing something funny that I would only be able to guess, for that to make sense. Yeah, you never meet somebody that's like a bioengineer working in a lab to develop a medicine or something. Like you'd never meet somebody like that. It was a special day. We went to the bar and somebody had a PhD. I don't even remember what it was in, but we started talking about stuff, and my friends got like, well, the people I was with, who were my friends at the time, I guess, they got like upset with me because I was having this long conversation with this, and because my brain was just like, oh my god, please, please say smart things to me. I'm dying. You just don't, you don't meet what the jobs people I, and this is no diss on the people I met, but like that's, you don't meet people who are any, like they work in the service industry, dishwashers, cooks, front of house. They're janitors like me, though I only really met like one or two other people that did janitorial work. Come to think of it, like very, like no one does this shit, and then they like act anyway. Mostly people were cooks, chefs, or cooks, front of house, dishwasher. There was a script supervisor for movies and commercials and stuff. They had a cool job. That was special. They might have been a bud tender, like the other coworkers at dispensaries. A cashier in some capacity. Yeah, no one was a doctor. No one was a lawyer. No one was a. What else can people do? I mean, I guess you could count, like, there's people that did property management work because I talked to them because they were here. Yeah, an engineer. He installed $1 million air conditioner thing in a building, but, like, you know, they didn't really have anything to do 90% of the day. Yeah, it's like, don't be a buzzkill. Well, like, the perception of what you're expected to do in life is completely off. Construction working, yeah, carpentry and construction. Um, Somebody bounced from like every pizza place in town. I think they said they were, and they got fired and shit. Like, just bounced around from pizza place to pizza place. I guess that was their thing. They were probably unemployed most of the time that I knew them. I mean, you know, people are strippers and stuff, but like, I didn't have a friend that was a stripper, like directly. Um, Obviously, and bartenders. I didn't have a like friend that was a bar, right? Did somebody at the liquor store also do bartending? Maybe somewhere. Well, still, it was like a really distant if they did. Um, what else did people do? They were artists, right? But like, come on, how often did you sell something and for how much? Might have been enough to pay for a tank of gas. There was one guy that sold a painting for $10,000. Like, somebody walked in, gave him $10,000 for this big painting. It was I think it's like a linograph. Is it was I'm trying to describe like that it was like these, he did like these Aztec based like heritage portraits, but so it wasn't like painted like colors and brushstrokes. It was like line work, and they gave him $10,000 like on the spot. That's pretty fucking. And that was like the biggest sale anybody that said anyway had the whole time I lived there. They moved into some other artist community that was supposed to be more like fancy and upscale, like better. What did anybody else do? People do DoorDash and obviously like delivery drivers and stuff, but nobody I knew had a car except for the person that was a script supervisor. And they didn't do delivery stuff, but they needed the car to get to jobs and stuff. Yeah, the whole boring Oregon thing. The dinosaur thing. I have to pee. Nobody was a full-time, like, podcaster, streamer. Somebody sat in our apartment and played League of Legends all fucking day. And it would bother me just because, like, what the fuck? They're just sitting in our apartment all day long. Every day while we go to work. It just didn't feel right to me. But, like, okay, whatever. Like, sure. I don't want to be a bitch. Yeah, people were DJs. Like, but that was like mostly on the East Coast. Even there was like a whole like circle of people that they did DJ stuff. So, and that made it feel like a genuine, like, you could do that. People do that. It's not like some far-flung stupid idea. Like, people do that. People make money off their art. People do music stuff. No one was like a full-time musician. That was always like a side. They made music and they loved music, but they were never, at least when I knew them, they were never like, that's how they like survived or something. They had to still be like a dishwasher or a line cook or a cashier, a bud tender. Bud tending is awesome. I feel like that's like a very special, that's not just like being a cashier somewhere. What, spend too much money on pot and they don't actually want you to work there? That makes no fucking sense. Yeah, okay. You ask too many questions and validate the science that like is clearly kind of like sketchy. Yeah, well, I was trying to make it better so it wouldn't be sketchy. My goal was to make it more legit. Why would you hurt me? What are you afraid of? Oh. What else did people do? Like, I think that's like it. I can't. Yeah, a lot of people were, the older people, you could assume they were on like disability maybe, or Section 8, or they got some kind of like Social Security, and then they were doing the art thing. But like, and just kind of making it. But I don't think they had another job. If I knew a therapist, is because I was seeing them as a therapist. Like, yeah, if I went by like kids I graduated from high school with, they work for the ACLU, for Tech Congress. They're immigration lawyers. They work for the news as camera people. Like, they had like some serious fucking awesome jobs. Like, the opened the Eco Village, and it's like philanthropic dream thing. There's a bunch of kids started their own like company. They'd make soap or candles or products, and a lot of people became parents, like before we hit 30. I don't know if you could say most of the girls have kids already. Maybe. I wasn't really like counting that, but if I think back on it, or even like a couple people like adopted their sibling, like their sister died or something, and they adopted their kids. Um, yeah, somebody worked at a bank for a minute, but that was like a minute. It's probably bouncing around. Yeah, a bank, a startup. What else did they do? Yeah, they went to the Peace Corps, but like something really bad happened. What my yeah, I'm thinking of my sister. She didn't do shit for like ever. I would even give her shit as a teenager for being a housewife. And then eventually she became a nurse. Oh, that's what the pizza guy was. He was going to school to do nursing stuff. You're right. He had me like edit one of his papers for school or something. That had nothing to do with anything medical. I don't even remember what it was about, but it was like just like a basic English paper. Um, yeah, there was somebody from the Czech Republic that they wanted me to work on their edit their thesis, and I would get credit, and I thought that was, and I never ended up editing their stuff. I think they were like gonna send me something, and then communication fell apart. But that, yeah, that would have been fucking awesome. People have, yeah, English, teaching English as a second language. I guess they made a whole career. A cluster of people have, like, that was their whole thing. And then they'd go, like, to country, travel the world, have a good time. There was a burlesque dancer who was from France, like a really, like, fancy professional. I don't know what to call it. It's just like another tier of, like, they go on tour and they do like photo shoots and like, I guess like the Suicide Girls, but like more burlesque, like old fashioned burlesque. Um, yeah, they're it's like a couple, a guy and a girl, and they've always been together, and I think I want them to like never break up. Some girl I lived with in college studied elephants and would go on trips to like Africa to study elephants, but I don't understand how you like, yeah, somebody else is a biologist. they do woofing. They'll get assigned to like live on an island or sleep by a volcano or like these like crazy outdoor adventure type things. They did art too. Yeah. Yeah, the whole what do people do for a living? What exactly do you do? I don't feel good and I'm scared. I need to pee. Questions of science. Why does my right armpit smell more than my left one? And then, I mean, why does it smell so much like guacamole? Obviously, I've been eating guacamole. But I mean, it smells like I just rubbed it into my armpit. Why? I don't know. If I don't have anything else to say, I should probably cut the recording off. It's what people do for a living. Oh, it's some idea about what people are expected to do when they're just new. No matter what they want to do. It's like, don't quit your part-time day job. Like, they want to be this, but they're going to do a lot of that first. Type stuff. You know, they kind of expect you to do cashiering. I don't think anybody really expects you to do cleaning, honestly. But they, like, expect you to, like, bag groceries at the grocery store is, like, the most traditional. Be a receptionist in an office. I think a lot of people want to do delivery driving because it feels like freedom. If they have a car, and then they get fucked paying for gasoline. Out of their paycheck. Like, it's not like it's covered. So it's like having to pay to work. Yeah, people want to be artists, and they want to be designers, they want to be movie makers, they want to build video games, they want to write books, they want to make, own a shop or open a school. Work for the UN. Write for Spin magazine. That was like it was a thing with somebody in high school. They wanted to write for Rolling Stone, and I just wanted to be like, you know, cool and different. So I would say I'd write for Spin, and they could write for Rolling Stone or something, but it has like no real meaning to me now. Yeah, work for Vice News would have been like cool. They went bankrupt. Oh yeah, a couple people worked for Planned Parenthood, or at least they did a few years ago. I haven't kept in touch with anybody. Yeah, they made it feel like the world died. Everything since 2020 made it feel like the world died. And if, I don't know, you try to reconnect now and it'd be weird. Like, why? I don't need you in my life, clearly, they would say. It's not like they miss my posts or need an update. A sense of solidarity, maybe, would be nice on both sides. Like, hey, remember, not everybody's like into this Trump shit. and then be like, yay. Yeah, imagine the person that wants to tell you that that you should care about Trump because they want their friends to get off on crimes. And, they want a sense of like they're like a mafia that can take over the world. They want to stomp out the libs. They want to own the libs. They want to be the wolves of Wall Street. They want to have a yacht and throw their money overboard because they just got so much of it. They want to like smoke big fat cigars and act like it's the height of luxury. A cool car, a skinny girl in a bikini, and a cigar. They can really look the part in a really bad outfit, like they're from Miami Vice. An episode of Miami Vice. Shoes and all. And they can feel like a real fucking... That makes them feel like a champion. And that's what these guys give them. Yeah. Like such a big no thanks. You don't even have to say thanks. Just no. I'll pass.